metres in length and with 16 corners, it invites overtaking at every opportunity, making it both a rider favourite and a fan favourite.
To the tide, they're starting to build their way into this. You can see it's a massive lead group. Bintang Pranata coming through on Tagashi as well. That is for P3. That's what we got to yesterday, but you can sniff a victory today.
Yeah, certainly can. Pranata then on the podium yesterday, and just thinking better of it over at turn 4, and I'm not surprised as well, of course, when you get a little bit of slipstream up the second back straight, let's call it here, at the Chang International Circuit. It's difficult to stay behind the rider, and okay, if you move to the inside, it looks like from our point of view you're trying to make a move, but I think you're just trying to crank the slipstream and get yourself into a better position coming into turn 5 at the infield. But it's still bunched up here. Shishiki isn't being allowed to get away, which is good news for the chase, as you can see there. Everyone all the way back to Aimnoy in P14 is pretty much bunched together. 2.1 seconds covered the top 14 over the line. Yeah, all the way back to 14th place. So this is anyone's game with 10 laps to go when we cross the line. Up
the inside, Bintang Pranata comes through. That's up for second place. So Pranata knocks back Irfan across the line. He sets his first on best lap as well. Just shy of 2/10 from your race leader of Tashiki. Irfan's still there in third. Tagashi in fourth. Songurdlong is there in 5th place. Rescue Yusuf 6th place at the moment. It's starting to settle down. The lap times are quick, I've got to say. They're not too bad considering they're all jockeying for position. Everyone in the 147s last time around. Down. Wei Zong down there in 15th place, the rider from Hong Kong. So he was in the 149s, but the top 14, this big lead group you can see on your screen, all in the 147s. Irfan back at the front, got that move done on the approach towards turn 3. That's where the 14 been so strong throughout this race so far. We are only 5 laps in though. Straight back. Tashiki, your race 1 winner, and third, Don Gertlong coming through as well. That's from 5th, up into 3rd. So time representative on the podium now, and he's not done just yet. He has to be for the moment though.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be second place. A couple of moves and a couple of corners for the now lead home hero on circuit. The Thai fans will be loving this. Finished just off the podium yesterday, was less than a 10th away from a podium finish yesterday. Was the number 5, and he'll be desperate to stand on the podium. Rookie season, of course, and it's an absolute dream, of course, to be racing in front of your home fans, but even more so, stand on one of the top 3 steps. So watch out for the number 5. Started from P10, remember. He's making very good progress and just goated his way up to the front of this race.
Tell you what, this lead group of 14 looks like it's just fracturing a little bit. I'm looking around Brody Hayes territory. I think it's back down towards 10th place. Oh, take a line, pick a number, anyone or either one will do. And up the inside comes Irfan, it is, who gets the job done. That's getting tight. That's over 4th place and 5th place, I believe, between Tagashi and Rescue Yusuf. So just keep an eye on those two. Back in the front, in towards Tashiki wants to lead this one from the front. I know that sounds a bit obvious, but he seems confident in his own pace, and he doesn't want to get mired too far down this lead group, because if soon as you start dropping through back towards 6th and 7th, that's when you start to encounter elbows as the race progresses.
Exactly, and we're getting towards the point of the race. So not to say we're quite there just yet, but in a couple of laps time, 3-4 maybe, that's the point of the race where you want to be well within that top 5 and be a little bit more comfortable. If you're down in 7th, 8th, 9th, and maybe even further, one mistake could cost you the podium. So I think this is why all the riders are trying to get into the front group in terms of further up this lead group as we go forward rest into turn 4. Fabulous stuff, and it is now the Thai rider, Thong Gurdlong, who now hits the lead, but not for long.
Yeah, not for long. Nothing is ever guaranteed. It's Katara Tagashi now who comes back. The 11 from the 5, Pranata, P3 yesterday, number 3 on the bike, P3 at the moment today as well. 4th for Rescue Yusuf, and completing that top 5, he was leading not that long ago, is Tashiki. So what about your runner-up yesterday? What did you do? Tate back in 10th place at the moment. Come on, song late yesterday, so if you don't write them off just yet, the number 8, they're in 10th, and the top 10, I can tell you, covered by about 1.2 seconds anyway, so there's nothing to split them. This is Moto4 Asia Cup at its finest. Bintang Bernardo looking on the inside, gets the job done, he's up into second place. He's getting very, very tight third. The rescue Yusuf gets it over the local hero from Goodlong. There's another lap is chalked off as they follow Kotaro Tagashi, who is your number P1, number 11, looking very strong.
Yeah, it certainly is. So they're all playing quite nicely at the moment, aren't they? Obviously jostling position and overtaking pretty cleanly, which is great to see. I just wonder when the wick is going to be turned up slightly. It was around about 6 laps ago, wasn't it, when a breakaway happened at the front where it started to get very tasty indeed. Turn 12 then, the classic slow-mo shot of the riders doing their thing on these Honda 250 machines into the tight right-hander, and then it's all about trying to pick up the bike, get on the throttle as fast as possible to the short burst to the line on the last lap, of course, but got to get a good run out of here if you're going to beat anyone to the line. Here we go then, turn 4. Once again, the slipstream coming into great effect. And have we got a new race leader? Well, I think we're going to have the tie rider. No, we're not quite. It's Yusuf now who is at the front.
Rescue Yusuf coming from that second row of the grid now up to lead the race. I think this is the first time we did lead, because I remember him leading yesterday. Maybe I got that wrong. Not unlikely or impossible, I've got to say, as you all well know. But at the moment, Rescue Yusuf up there in P1 ahead of Tom Goodlong, who is doing a cracking job. This is a fine ride from number 5 in his debut weekend in the class. Hasharagor, Tom Goodlong, I remind you, at number 5, looking to try and take victory here in Thailand. We're at halfway distance when they come across the line here. It starts to get towards the pointy end, is when you want to start getting your elbows out. Oh my dearie me, surely the number 8 of Waku Gunatati, more like Wacky up the inside. That was a bit wild. Somehow, despite that extremely tight line, he got it pulled down, and everyone makes it through the corner another time. At the moment, it is the 22 of Yusuf who leads, but look at Tom Goodlong sitting there, waiting to pounce to take the race lead, and the grandstand will go potty when that happens.
Absolutely, yeah. It looks comfortable, doesn't he, the number 5? He's very happy lapping in the top 3, top 4 as things stand, although he could be getting a little bit swamped down here into turn 3. It's the 16 of Shishiku who's made the advantage at the moment down into turn 3. That's the 11 of Tagashi moving up the inside into P2. So at this moment in time, you've got the 16 out in the lead, your race winner from yesterday. The 11 of Tagashi, who finished in P7 and P5, going elbow to elbow down back up the second back straight, let's call it, and we've got a lot of riders coming into slipstream. I thought the 3 of Pranata was about to dive the inside at turn 4, thought better of it, but this is changing lap by lap. Slipstream really taking effect here at the Chang International Circuit.
Coming through turn 5 and turn 6. Oh, it's getting tight right towards the back of this group as well. Tashiki it is. Who's your X1 winner. We had the second youngest podium of all time yesterday in the Moto4 Asia Cup in terms of the average age, and it was Tashiki who headed it home. Whether or not he's able to do so yet again today remains to be seen, but he's probably led more laps than anyone at this stage of the race, so he looked for the most comfortable, the most settled at the front.
Yeah, he certainly has. Matsuyama incidentally still in P8 as things stand, just keeping his powder dry at the moment is the number 2, the pole sitter, of course, and really one of the, if not the favourite coming into this season. That's a little bit wide from the number 22 of Yusuf. It's cost him time on the run to the line. Still won the race to the line, incidentally, but it is now the 16 of Shiki who returns to the race lead.
Worth noting that it was only 0.004 of a second. I am surprised Yusuf did lead that, because I looked like Tashiki had it to me, but never mind. I won't argue with maths. Even I won't argue with maths. I can hear everyone already laughing back home. But I've got to say, I did think it was Tashiki who got that. Oh, Pranata got that all wrong, but he got it all right in the end by the apex. So Bintang Pranata, so he starts to enter the final third of this one. He will be at 2/3 race distance at the end of this lap, so if there is a red flag for an incident or something else out there on track, it will be a final result. And I think aware of that, the 16 of Tashiki comes right back through. Pranata relegated to second, but it's starting to get feisty, isn't it, Al?
Certainly is. Just see the number 2 of Matsuyama there trying to get up the inside, make up positions, because with 5.5 laps to go, this is where you want to be within that top 5, because if any mistakes occur in the mid-pack when riders are jostling for position, we saw the 11 there to Gashi trying to dive up the inside, take a shorter line through turn 7. We saw that a couple of times yesterday from the 11, didn't we? What this race is telling me, though, for the rest of the season, we've got a lot of riders who are level pegging in terms of what their feeling is on the bike, which is great news for the rest of the season, because the last few years we've had a couple of standout riders, maybe one even, of course, at points. But this is a real indication of what we might be enjoying for the rest of the season.
Can't wait to see how this one all pans out. We are coming down towards this final corner, making a move up the inside. That's the number 13, and that is Mert Badley, who's now starting to actually come back into this. He's now up into 4th. He started the last lap 8, so Mert Badley doing a very good job at leading himself in this. I've got to say, yesterday was the other way around. He started strongly, then faded. This time he's not started super strongly. Great opening lap as we've become accustomed to seeing, but he's starting to edge his way back into this. It is still Toshiki who leads out front. Irfan is right back there this time around. He was one of the pre-season favourites here. I tell you what, he's got to be careful because we had yellow flags out. Point of the circle just a moment ago. Irfan doing well not to cough himself a penalty there, but good stuff all around. Irfan, like I said, one of you, they're waving to each other. That was Rescue Yusuf just saluting Kabir Irfan on his way through and taking advantage of that. Oh, I was going to say someone's going to have to give their Bintang Penata was shoving out Kabir Irfan. I was just about to say, coming through, Mert Badley doesn't need a second invitation.
No, certainly not. So 2 riders then on that last lap were into the 146s. It was Kabir Irfan in 2nd place on the number 14, and Badley, of course, who made up a lot of places on that last lap, around on the number 13, and 46.8 personal best lap time for Badley, 46.9 for Irfan. No one else in that top group, and of course the race as well were even relatively close to getting into the 146s. As we see now, though, a breakaway starting to appear at the front. Shishiki, once again, your race 1 winner, is making a break for it here with just over 4 laps to go. This is now a crucial stage of this race.
It really is. Toshiki looking to double up here in the season opener. This is exactly what he did yesterday. Mert Badley is aware of that, gets up the inside. That's for P2, runs it a bit wide. Now let's see the lap time across the line. Toshiki, 47 flat, and everyone else really at least 4 tenths slower. That's why there's a 9/10 of a second gap now between P1 and P2. If they're not careful, this is going to be a battle for the podium, not the victory.
Yeah, Badley and Irfan just looked at each other there, and this is why I think we're going to see... Oh no, this is around at turn 4. Last time around, a little bit of contact there through the fast left-hander. Didn't lose too much time, either of them. Of course, there's a decent chunk of run off there, and he was forced off, so I don't think he's going to get a penalty for that one. But this is now a crucial stage of the race. It was Irfan who gave the classic rear tail unit a tap to say, stick behind me, and we'll try and chase the leader.
Massive high side out at the back. That is a huge one. Couldn't quite see the number, but thankfully the rider is moving and just gathering his senses at the side of the circle. That was a big one right at the back. Can't quite see who that may well have been, but we'll have to get a replay just to identify the number. That's getting tight. Oh, Haruki Matsuyama it was. I thought I saw a 2, but I didn't know if it was a 2 followed by another number. Matsuyama, well, not the ideal way to start his season. Big high side here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look in the background. Yeah, couldn't quite see how it happened, but obviously on the exit of the corner, trying to get the power down as early as possible to get a good run up the long straight. And unfortunately, Matsuyama crashes out, so not the weekend. The pre-weekend title favourite and pole sitter would have been wanting. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the main thing, he is all okay. We saw him moving and about to stand up, I think, so that's good news at least.
Yeah, I think the yellow flags are in as well, so the marshals have done a great job there to get the bikes recovered, or the bike recovered, the rider out of any harm's way. Back to the action as Haruki Matsuyama will now watch the final 4 or so laps of this from track side. 3 laps, sorry, as they come across the line. We've got Pasha Agon, Thongerd Luong, who's moved up into P2. Make that 3rd as Bintang Penata comes back through, but now with a 1.3 second gap up towards Toshiki, your race leader. It's now starting to surely be a battle for second.
Yeah, Toshiki, this is really impressive. Another 146, a 46.930. He's obviously got clear track ahead of him, clear track behind him now. He's not getting disturbed. All he's got to do on the 16 is continue to keep this rhythm, and he is going to win this race and double up here in Thailand to kick-start the season in, well, the perfect fashion. And again, we get pictures of riders tapping tail units, and that is Matsuyama, of course, on the back of the scooter. Good thing is he looks uninjured, which is obviously good news. But yeah, work to do for Matsuyama already in the title race. Work to do for these riders to try and catch Shishiki, but I think that all hope is now gone. It's all about racing for P2 and P3 here in Thailand.
Maybe some of the riders at the back of this group aren't actually aware one of them has escaped up front, so that's why they are persisting to battle. Fine ride from Tashiki. It's not over yet. Anything can still happen. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how the next 10 or so kilometres all unfold as they come into turn 8 and 9. Badly was briefly up into P3. In fact, he's held on to P3, so good stuff there. Mert Badley started 11th and is now looking at a first podium of this 2026 season.
Yeah, so turn 12 then coming up. Let's see how the riders play this one. Are they going to try and stick behind each other for another lap or so in any attempt to try and catch the runaway leader of Shishiki at the front? It's the 13 of Badley who makes a move up the inside, but he's just compromised his exit, so I won't be surprised if he gets overtaken on the run into turn 1 by the number 11 of Tagashi. They're alongside each other. 2 laps to go here in Thailand, and the race for P1 looks like it could be over. 1.7 seconds now. Once again, Shishiki is doing what he did yesterday, and unlike yesterday, no one is able to go with him.
Fantastic stuff from Tashiki. If we could learn to qualify, everyone's in danger right from the start of this, you've got to say. Tashiki has been in fine form. The number 16 is getting the business done. Behind, it's a lottery. I mean, Vincent Quinata is coming now through up the inside. That is your number 3. That's your number 3 moving up into P2. The 13 of Badley, who's just been put back just a little bit now. That's towards 6th place. Reski Yusuf is right there. Kunatate, well, he's left it late, but the number 8 is coming good. He's up in 4th. He might even be 3rd. He could be 2nd with a bit of slipstream. At the inside, Kunatate, it is exactly the same top 3 as yesterday. Here with a lap and a half to go. Katara and Takashi looking to try and come through as well. Does so P5. Up at turn 5, P3. So 2 seconds between 1 and 2. That's done and dusted. All eyes are on this battle for second.
Yeah, absolutely. All eyes on this battle for the remaining 2 spots on the podium, and it is anyone's game really out of the riders from 2nd down to P11. So a lot of these riders, of course, didn't finish on the podium yesterday. Going to be hungry for podium success today. And of course, we've got turn 12 to go for the penultimate time coming up. There's your live championship standings. A reminder of Shishiki race winner yesterday, but we're going to be focusing on race 2 only at this moment in time. Turn 12 for the penultimate time.
Oh, Badley. Teary. Oh, bit of a knock-on effect there. That was the 14 of Irfan shouldering, I think it was Pranasa out the way. It was indeed. So on to the last lap. The Moto4 Asia Cup guys are absolutely elbows out. Last lap time then, let's see what we've got here. Tashiki is with a 2-second advantage to 16. Flashes through the shot. He beat Kunatate in the last lap fight yesterday. He's got the measure of him today. Kunatate's got his own fires to put out in race 2. Here, coming through, Tagashi, he's up the inside. At the moment, it is a Japan 1, 2, 3. Where is Vincent Quinata going? Oh, dear me, got that all wrong. Somehow drifted into the corner, blew the apex, and they all came out of it on their wheels as they come through the 2nd sector up down towards turn 4.
Yeah, Fleming not happy in the background there on the number 10 machine. I think he lost out big time there. He got forced out wide through no fault of his own down at turn 3 again, and pretty messy. Got rough at turn 4 already. That's Brave hanging it around the outside at turn 4 on the number 11. Tagashi really wanting to keep that 2nd place, but he's not for now.
Oh, that was a disaster. I think that's Reski Yusuf who's gone down. The number 22, it is indeed who has gone down. That's at turn 5. He just tagged the back. I don't know who it was. It could have been Kunatate. We'll have to wait and see. We'll get a replay, I'm sure. But Reski Yusuf is out of action on this final lap. A shame for the young number 22. Coming through then, this is the 14 of Irfan and Tagashi. It's going to be head-to-head here to see who is going to take the silver medal, who's going to take the bronze. The gold is all wrapped up, barring acts of God. by Hayatu Toshiki, who is the number 16, who is leading the charge. But look how tight it is over the fight for P2. Irfan has got it done, surely, unless Tagashi is able to get it to the line. It is a win for Toshiki, who doubles up in Buriram at the start of the season. Irfan takes second for his first rostrum, and Tagashi likewise joining on the podium. 5 different podium finishers out of a possible 6 in the opening 2 races. But it's Hayatu Toshiki who, in the same as race 1, doubles up and takes P1 across both races here in Thailand. Bintang Panata, after all of his sideways colour and movement down at turn 3, comes home in 4th place, and yesterday's P2 finisher Waku Kunatate completes the top 5.
Yeah, brilliant ride then from Shishiki. Once again, like he did yesterday, as we mentioned, was able to pull the pin in the latter stages, but ultimately no one was able to go with him. Yesterday it was Kunatate who was able to cling on to the coattails of the number 16, but absolutely no chance of that today. Over 2-second victory in any class really is a healthy margin, but especially in the Moto4 Asia Cup. That is a job well done from Shishiki. Doubles up here in Thailand, fantastic stuff, untouchable in the latter stages. As we just cut to Irfan, on the 14. Got shuffled down the order, didn't he, in the last couple of laps, but did well to rebuild and get back up. Started on the front row, of course, here, and he's backed it up with a podium, and we're really pleased with that.
It makes the championship very interesting as well. Okay, Toshiki has come away from Buriram with a double, and the position is perhaps not as consistent behind. The 5 different podium finishes straight out of the box here in Thailand. I can't wait to get to Qatar and see exactly how we go there. Lasalle is always giving us great racing, just like here in Buriram. It's a bit more a slipstream city, I've got to say, over there in the Middle East, but Hayatu Toshiki, fantastic this weekend. Kabir Irfan second, as we said. Kotaro Tagashi there in 3rd. They rolled it out a little bit at the end, did Toshiki, the number 16, and Tagashi. It was a 46.8 from Kabir Irfan, who set his personal best lap on his final flying lap. Place right to the end, but he'll be annoyed that perhaps he didn't go with Toshiki earlier doors.
Yeah, I think a lot of the riders will be, fairly annoyed about that, but sometimes the race just doesn't come to you when you want it to, and Shishiki placed himself well, got the lap time in on a couple of laps when it mattered most, and ultimately that's what allowed him to gain half a second up to a second. And once the gap at the lead, once you're in the lead, gets gone over a second, it's very, very difficult to be able to reel people back in when you've got obviously riders behind who are trying to do the same thing as you. But great to have 5 different podium finishes in the opening couple of races. Really sets us up nicely for the rest of the season. A lot of riders here, as I mentioned during that race, look like they've obviously made a step from last year or have come into the class and hit the ground running straight away, which is great to see. Obviously a whole load of mix of nationalities, which we always get in Moto4 Age Cup as well. So not a bad first weekend of racing. Not bad at all, and we're back at it as well. I think the cobwebs have finally blown off for us in terms of the name pronunciation front, and also identified who is who. This was, I think, on the final lap. This is the race winning overtake. Okay, yes, because we have number 16, Hayatu Toshiki. This is how we got it done. Down in towards turn 5. I thought we were going to get a look at the incident there down at turn 5, the final lap involving Rescue Yusuf. I'm sure we will get a look at it. This is the Bintang Panata sideways steering up as close to a spear tackle down there up the inside at turn 3, and next we should be seeing the incident at turn 5. Here it is. Rescue Yusuf is just coming up the inside. It is of Kunatate, and just gets his nose cleaned out, and down he goes. Yeah, that's going to be considered a racing incident, I'm sure, down at turn 5, and this is the last lap, and very easy, an easier last corner than he endured yesterday through turn 12. That's just the way leaders would like it down there at the final corner. Still defended his line. I don't think he realised just how far. You can never be sure in Moto4 Asia Cup, can you? I think even for us up here in commentary, if someone's having a lunge from 2 seconds back, it would have gone down in the Guinness Book of Records as the biggest lunge in motorcycle racing history. Then again, as you say, you can never be sure in the Moto4 Asia Cup. No, and you never know what's going on under the visor. Obviously, when you lead in the race, in the latter stages, you maybe not concentrating too much on the gap behind you. You just absolutely keep your head down, keep focused, and when you're in that sort of rhythm, high 46s, low 147s, last lap of 47.4 for your race winner, Shishiki. then yeah, you're just going to do all you can to try and get to the finish line as quick as possible. Ultimately, he didn't have to defend. He was over 2 seconds up the road from the chasing pack. But a couple of incidents there, which is obviously a shame to see, but that's exactly what can happen. We saw there down at turn 3 Fleming getting pushed out, and that ultimately cost Kieran Fleming, tie rider, of course, here on home soil, chance for the podium.
These are your final results, which are like the final results we have on our driving monitor. They look like yesterday. Okay, well, whilst we work that out, I'm struggling to see even where that comes from, I've got to say. Yeah, and the points are all wrong as well. Good spot out. I think we've just done it. Perhaps the graphics have just misgenerated themselves there. But anyway, gives us something to talk about. The one thing that is correct is Ryuki Matsuyama out with 3 laps to go. Yeah,
not the weekend the pole sitter would have wanted, really, was it? Obviously picked up a podium here last year, was 4th in race 1 here last year as well. Picked up a P5 yesterday, so a decent point tool to hit things off, 11 points to finish in 5th place. But yeah, an absolute crash. Tucked over the top with a couple of laps to go on the exit of turn 3. These are the rider standings now.
We think that looks about right for me. I've got to say the rider standings look a bit more accurate. What is for sure is Iatc Tashiki leads the Japanese 1-2 in the standings. Perfect 50 though to start there. So brilliant stuff. 4 tie riders up inside the top 9 places. So lots of reason for our Thai fans, both trackside and listening in wherever you are from around the world, to be excited about in 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great weekend here in Thailand overall. Of course, we've got to get Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP Grand Prix under our belt, but the Thai fans treated to some good racing here this morning, and of course they're going to be watching these guys closely as all these nationalities and all the fans from this part of the world are, and we're going to get the podium ceremony underway very shortly as well.
Indeed, not going to play golf, don't worry, they are just going to go and stand on top of the box. You can see the David Clares photographer there, the official photographer for the World Superbike paddock, as well as the Iatc Moto4 Asia Cup. He's had a couple of weeks of hard graft, 3 weeks in a row, a couple of weeks down under in Australia at Phillip Island with the Superbikes. Now he's come here in the boiling heat of Buriram, and there he is, getting the sweat on and working for his upkeep and very bacon to take home.
Well, gets paid the big bucks.
Exactly, that's why we're up here in an air-conditioned comms box, far more comfortable. But dear me, so that's why we have a little bit of bit of drama perhaps with the graphics. That will be
turn 3, I reckon.
Turn 3 when he got it all wrong. Bintang Pranata dropping from 4th to 5th. At this stage of the season, it won't be too major, but I've got to say, he'd have preferred to have come away with a 3rd and 4th this opening round and not 3rd and 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pranata, it was a little bit aggressive, a little bit out of control, you've got to say, down at turn 3 on the final lap. That can happen, of course. He didn't run off the road, but he did cost a couple of riders plenty of time and ultimately ruined Fleming's chance, at least, to try and finish higher than P10 over the line. So yeah, I can understand that decision from the FOI MotoGP stewards. Of course, you've got to not be harsher than you are in Grand Prix, but of course these riders ultimately on the road to MotoGP, it's all about learning as well as racing here. So yeah, the stewards there just deeming that a little bit too over the line, which is very understandable.
And now that makes a bit more sense with what we were seeing in the graphics. So it seems that our graphics department perhaps just ahead of the stewards' decision. So because our timing screen is now actually updated. So well, at least from memory, because Zong in 13th place has got 3 points, which is exactly what he was given on the graph. So that would make a little bit more sense. Going to get the podium underway, and it is Kotaro Tagashi who gets up there first. So he gets to P3. Now it's Kabil Irfan, the Malaysian, up there in P2, but it's another win out for Hayato to keep it.
Yeah, a couple of gold trophies to take home from Thailand, and what a way to kickstart your season for Hayato Shishiki. And we're going to be hearing, of course, the Japanese national anthem once again here on Sunday morning. Is that the only time we're going to hear it today, I wonder?
Well, who knows? We just don't know, do we? That's the beauty of the most exciting sport on earth. You just don't know what results are going to throw your way. The podium is being handed out by Hikaru Tsunomoto, and the podium positions Hikaru Tsunomoto, I beg your pardon, is handing out third place and second place. And then we'll have our winner's trophy handed to Hayato Toshiki. A little bit of extra hand luggage for him to take back to Japan ahead of the rest of this 2026 season. Alex Bonrapa is there doing the honours to hand out the winner's trophy. The Japanese national anthem in the Moto4 Asia Cup for the second time this weekend. To the opening round in 2026 for the Idemitsu Moto4 Asia Cup. It is Hayato Toshiki who doubles up. Our final thoughts before we get packing our bags to Brazil, but before those guys start training for round 2 in Qatar.
Yeah, looking forward to round 2 already. It was a great weekend, wasn't it, of racing, a good pair of races. Okay, we had a little bit of a runaway winner in race 2, but you've got to credit where credit's due sometimes. Toshiki, a perfect weekend to get things started, and already they're chasing the Japanese rider. But I think we've got a great season of racing ahead.
We do. We're back in action for the Moto4 Asia Cup from the 10th of April to the 12th of April. That is, of course, in support of the Qatari Grand Prix at Lusail. But until that moment, Grand Prix Sunday off and running. Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be unmissable. Enjoy the rest of your day.